All righty, hold on a second here. That's a bit crooked. I kind of facing the wrong way there. Of course, now I'm running out of coffee. Good morning, everybody. This is Roaming Prepper, and my completely out of the blue Saturday Sitrep. I've been so busy traveling the last few weeks, actually the last month, that I haven't done an actual like in-person live Saturday Sitrep in got to be 2 or 3 weeks. And I'll be honest with you, I'm absolutely done. I'm exhausted. Hey, Scott, Angie, hello. Just FYI, I'm not on StreamYard. I'm on YouTube itself, so I can't throw comments on or throw your comments up. But thank you for joining me. Royal Lioness, good morning. Uh, as a matter of fact, as a symptom of my tiredness, I decided last night we were going to do the Corgi Dog live for 30, 40 minutes, and you guys got to watch my potatoes run around the house and fight with each other. Ah, God, is it me or are you all exhausted? I'm just curious if maybe I'm just tired. I need more sleep, or is it just a lot between our day to day work, you know, taking care of the kids, taking care of their parents, whatever you guys are dealing with, and then you turn on the news and it's not like, oh, Israel and Iran are pissed at each other like it used to be. Now it's like, hey, KP Heathen, it feels like everything's at our front door. And yeah, I got to tell you, I've been struggling. Hey, Canadian, um, just to get my brain going. And yeah, okay, Angie, yeah, exactly. Mentally and emotionally drained. The video that I did in 3 parts because I started it on TikTok and then put it from Insta to YouTube about the Hobby Lobby. On YouTube, I would have done one 6-minute video and it would have been, but because the other platforms are stupid, I had to break it up, and it just I absolutely didn't like that. So those next time I'm just going to do a version for YouTube, and then I'll do the stupid versions for the people on TikTok. Um, because yeah, but yeah, just doing that was exhausting this week. Hey, good morning, Coffee. Scott, exhausted, sick, and unemployed temporarily. So, Scott, oh, hold on, I got people texting me from work here on my iPad. But anyway, okay, sorry, that was a distraction. It kind of threw me off. Uh, Scott, if you want to email me, if you're in the, I guess this, well, shoot, depending on what state you're in, there may be companies I know of that are hiring. I don't know what you do, so don't put anything in the open chat that's unsecure. But if you want to email me, I can send you some direction depending on where you're located. Because obviously, if you're in Texas, I'll know a lot more than if like you're in Ohio, where I do know some company people, but completely different world from what I do. So, uh, yeah, hard to find energy anymore. Exactly, Watchman. Um, so, did you guys? I'm going to start this with something I normally don't. You guys know me. I am a man who I believe in God. I try to practice a good Christian life. I don't always succeed. I think the most important thing, actually, the way my dad put it was, a good Christian when the first thing they tell you is, I'm not the best Christian in the world because they're real. And I thought that was really profound. But I just found all sorts of new respect for Tyrese Gibson. I'm going to show you, for those of you who are not familiar with him, uh, he hold on. Oh no, that's not the one I wanted. Tyrese Gibson. For those of you who have not seen him, he's the guy from Hey Food Forest, Angie, Roy Lioness. So, and this guy, anybody who can stand up in Hollywood, which to me is like the center of evil shit lately. Tyrese Gibson, this is him. I'm sure you guys, I'm going to put him a little closer. He was from Fast and the Furious series and a bunch of other movies. I really like him as an actor. He also did some Commando movie, which was totally out of character for him, and it was great. If I remember, I'll throw it out there. Yeah, absolutely, Watchman. You got to have repentance and regret for those things you did wrong in your heart. But for instance, my pastor is actually a founding member of a church in Louisiana, and I'm on the plaque. My name and my wife's name are on the plaque in that church now. And everyone moved on. The pastor transferred away, and other people retired. But the founding pastor used to be a district attorney in a major city. I won't say which, and decided to become a chaplain, a preacher, and start a church in a congregation. And he, when he spoke, especially to the teenagers, he's like, the reason the Bible says this is because this is what will happen. So 3 years ago, I was handling a case where this young couple did this, and they wound up in jail. And like, he spoke, he could tie biblical and faith references to actual cases and what sin that carries some gravitas, folks. So, but Tyrese Gibson actually put out an article stating, or an interview. He said, as much as I'm supposed to be promoting this movie and talking about my album, because there's a new movie out for him, I just feel like we're in competition right now because we're trying to normalize the devil, Gibson said. The devil is on main stage at award shows and in every video and signs and symbols. And then they put in parentheses, devil worshippers. He's referring to somebody like the Hollywood elite. The devil worshippers or the elites are going above and beyond to promote the devil, and it's ticking me off. He said something else there. Devil worshippers used to be very secretive and fearful. Now they're everywhere. And he said, we need to stop treating our relationship with Jesus Christ and God like the little buddy you talk to before you go to bed at night. Damn. Y'all, I will watch every one of his freaking movies. By the way, Mel Gibson is coming out with a movie series about trafficking. He did it secretly. It's already done. It's in 4 parts, and it's about to be aired in the next month. So if Mel Gibson has a car accident, yeah, whatever. But apparently he's naming names in government and in Hollywood. So I'm looking forward to some righteousness. You know what I'm saying? And not to get preachy, you guys know my style. I'm not normally preachy, but God, I respect the hell out of this guy. And Chris Pratt's another one who went out and they asked him, well, what do you think about something? And he said, well, before I make those kind of decisions, I pray to my Lord. I pray to God. By the way, it's not just Christians. So Muslims decided that they didn't like the gay pride parade in Michigan. And it wasn't the pride parade. It was somebody was being inappropriate. So they took the flags away and burned them or threw them in the trash. And then they were Allah Akbar, which is God is great in Arabic, to the flags in the trash. So there's a counter revolution occurring, and it's much bigger than I thought it was. So I just want to remind you, you can't, Canadian, you cannot legislate evil. Wait a minute, hold on. Joe's in the chat. Hey, Joe. And Joe, wait, Joe, hi, Scott. Wait, Joe, I think you just commented that you were still ouchy, and that's an understatement because I know you're in serious freaking pain. Well, I put up the queen on Bud Light. Anyway, but hey, Klingon Princess, Mad Chad, thank you guys. Penny Pinching Outlaw. Uh, and yeah, Joe, that's a good point. The Watchman says you should be able to file for state aid disability. Unfortunately, then you have to deal with the state people. So I highly recommend, I'm sure everyone else would, any docs you have related to the injury or whatever you're going through, keep them organized as best you can. And if you can scan them and have copies, even better. But yeah, folks, it's and hey, Mark, what's going on? Mark, I need to email you, and probably Joe wants to see this too. I've been pulling apart and reassembling different parts of a Mossberg 500. It is now complete, and so I'm quite psyched with my result. And I got to go range test it. Unfortunately, most indoor ranges frown on using shotguns, so I have to go to the outdoor range, which is like 30 minutes away, out in the desert, so I can shoot it there. The state goons is a. Hey Lee, what's going on? Thanks for joining me this morning. Mad Shad dispensing the bacon today. Oh, Mad Shad, related to breakfast. Chick-fil-A has a chicken egg burrito. I've never had it before. I had it this morning after I went to the gym. And yeah, I went to the gym on a Saturday. Uh, why? I don't know. I just got up. I'm like, I'm dying. I need the gym. Anyway, um, wow, that was really good. So, it's one of those tacos. So yeah, may want to check that out next time you're at Chick-fil-A, but it's breakfast only. Um, it doesn't sing, by the way, like I did. So Mark, absolutely. I got a couple of different Mossbergs. I have a 835 Goose Gun, and it literally looks like Elmer Fudd's little shotgun, but in real life with the long barrel. My best goose shot, and we harvested quite a bit of geese. We donated that actually to one of our coworkers had gotten injured, so we wound up with 15 different birds on that hunt, and we cleaned them, and they wound up bringing it to the employee's family. We're like, look, you have enough bird here to cook for like 2 weeks. So, by the way, prepping is not just for yourself, right? And SHTF can be aliens, it can be an economic collapse. And SHTF can also be someone winds up in the hospital, they get hurt, they lose their job, their spouse dies, somebody gets cancer. All these things are little SHTFs for each individual family. But if you're able to go and take some of yours maybe from Mylar or something frozen and go and say, hey, look, your dinner tonight is here. You have to prepare it, but here's goods. That's not a bad thing. That's how you make friends in an emergency. So just saying. I have a 500 camper model. I've never seen that. Yes, tactical nukes in Belarus. The Watchman's. I think he reads my mind because he's way ahead of me. Lee Mossberg 500 is good, solid, reliable platform. Yeah, and I love the snake charmer. By the way, Mark gave me a correction, and he was absolutely right. I referred to the out of morbid habit. The snake charmer is a rifle. It is a long gun, but it is not a rifle because it's not a rifle bore. It is a smooth bore, so therefore it is technically a shotgun. I can't technically call it a rifle. So, very good technical catch by Mark, and that's good stuff because we need to make sure we keep our nomenclature clear so we don't confuse everyone else. 300. What's going on, my friend? Canadian was at Costco this morning. Oof, cha-ching. Yeah, no doubt. So, a couple of interesting articles I got today. This one, so you guys remember Silicon Valley Bank, right? You can stick about 30 different non-410 rounds in that. Yes, you can put what 445 long cold. I can't even remember. Actually, Joe, you want to list them? You probably help everyone out. Remember Silicon Valley Bank? They invested stupidly. Inflation hit. Bank went under. This was new. This one popped up yesterday, day before. I don't know how old it is. I don't see the date, but oh shoot. Okay, we can do it that way. So how the SVB banking crisis created exposure for American farmers. Now, we've been worried about the supply chain we've been worried about it for a hot minute now after 2020, but Ukraine has absolutely disrupted food supply globally, not so much here in the West, but globally in general. And that's some scary stuff. Excuse me, guys. That the banks think about it. A lot of farmers, especially like the co-ops and private farmers, use local regional banks, and if they're the ones who are at risk, what's their go-to? They have to go to the big banks that require the DEI and the what do you call the ESG and all these other requirements, which many farmers would get out of business if they had to do it that way. Okay, an electric farm tractor sounds great in theory, but the energy package required would make the tractor so heavy it would sink. I mean, unless I'm wrong, just perceiving how heavy a damn Tesla is versus, say, a Mustang of the same size, that could put our farmers in a bind. So, okay, hold on. Joe, 45 Colt, 454, 460, 30, 30, 303, 76254. Okay. By the way, Joe's recommendations, although valid, hey, random dude, welcome. Um, Drive safe if you're driving. I'm like a turtle shell, always ready to go. I carry everything on me at all times. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Hey, constitutional carpenter, and anyone else I missed, I'm sorry. Uh, get your chick coin in order. Yeah. So, but yeah, interesting that that's these small banks getting under pressure. If you think about it, the co-ops and the farms go to the local regional banks 90% of the time. Oil and gas companies in Texas and Oklahoma and New Mexico will often have multiple accounts spread out, but they will rely on local regional banks who understand that market. It would be the same if you were in a lumber company, right? You're going to go to the regional bank that understands the local lumber market. If those banks start going to, they're going to have to go to the Chases, the Bank of Americas, et cetera, et cetera. That bothers me. And then you read this one came up a few days ago. Nope, sorry, it's a couple of weeks ago. And you guys have probably seen this elsewhere. Ukraine's farmland is a literal minefield. As the Russians and the Ukrainians fight back and forth, and the line is shifting, and this is going to go on for a while, y'all. They're finding landmines all over the farm fields. The Germans did the same thing, and the Russians did the same thing in World War II. They did that to each other. So now tractors are getting hit by or hitting mines as they're trying to plant crops. So now, when they've occupied an area, the Ukrainians' military move past. The engineers take what they can. After which, they have to bring a civilian group of like technical engineers and minesweepers, basically, and go through that property before they can start planting crops. And they have to plant in the next month or two in order to harvest in the fall to get through the winter. So you can see 2024 is already going to be a shit show for people in Africa if they can't get Europe squared away. So this is really, really bizarre, and it's unfortunate seeing this mix. So this is good stuff for us to know, because now you can start doing your own digging and say, hey, I may need some more flour, I may need some more pasta, whatever it is you may need. So uranium shells we sent will pollute the soil also when they get used. Rescue, hey, welcome. And yes, absolutely. There are parts of Iraq right now that are actually low level irradiated from all the depleted uranium rounds that have been fired back and forth. So a blunderbuss, actually having bullets go down a rifle that are smaller than the rifling. Ooh, if it doesn't get, the 3030 has a rim cartridge casing. That's correct, yeah. Mm. So anyway, yeah, I've been looking for 3030. I can't find them anywhere. So I did find from Valley Food Storage. I'm not affiliated with these folks, but they do put out some good articles. Uh, their prediction on food. Sorry, hold on. Food shortage coming in 2023. What will go down? Um, and obviously, they are a company that sells emergency food and whatnot. Again, I'm not an affiliate. They're just another one of the many companies we can choose from. Uh, they're thinking. Let's see. Hold on. Climate change. Blah blah blah. So they're thinking bread, which would be related to the flour we just talked about. Now, the canned food and pet food is, according to them, because of an expected aluminum shortage. Um, Now, people don't realize that aluminum requires a chemical or component they refer to as Coke. It's really not cocaine or Coca-Cola, but it's a derivative of petroleum. So if the petroleum supply is expensive or hard to get a hold of, it's going to indirectly raise the cost of the aluminum can products. And that's also not including other components in that for the supply chain. So they also say pet food. So bread, flour, canned foods, pet foods, and then they go on about talking about their various kits and whatnot. I have not tried that product. I just like their articles. They write really good articles on the page. But again, this is the kind of information when I go over this stuff, it's not to scare you, it's to inform you so that you can then say, you know what? If there's going to be canned food or if there's going to be, say, a mason jar shortage because there was a fire somewhere, which has happened frequently, I'm going to get an extra case of mason jars today or next payday or whatever it is. So, hey, Shorty, welcome. I don't care what anyone says. I love, 410. If you've ever checked out the Raging Judge, that's the big honking revolver, isn't it? So I know a police officer bought one, gave it to his wife, who's a petite guy. He's a big boy, and he's a jujitsu instructor for the police. And she has this thing. She's like, "You're an idiot. This is bigger than me." He's like, "No, it'll be fun." Whenever a very large husband tells a small wife that a firearm will be fun, he's setting her up, right? She loved it. She had a blast with the thing. She was shooting cans, she was shooting bottles, she made an absolute mess, and then she took his gun. So now he has to buy a new one. So that's what he gets for trying to embarrass his wife. She stole his pistol. The Army still has an act that keeps the demolition group active in Virginia to deal with Civil War ordnance. Yeah, and Lee, that's an interesting point because they're still dealing with ordnance that is being found in France from World War One. Ladies and gentlemen, that was 100 years ago. The war ended in 1918, and they're still finding ordnance in that one field. I believe it's in part of the Ardennes forest between Belgium and France. Uh, but think about it: in a bad situation. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. An armed wife with a gun she likes, awesome. Yeah, definitely. Um, so yeah, speaking of armed wife, so Sassy got her other pistol, my Sassy got her other pistol Cerakoted with winter camo, and it looks absolutely insane. I'll try and find a good picture of it. I'll put it on my community page. Um, and when we went out to shoot, I didn't have a chance to clean it when it came back from Cerakoting, and she had an FTF, which is, for those of you unfamiliar, failure to feed. She's stovepiped. And she looks at it, and she goes, shit, hey, it's stuck. And I'm like, well, clear it. What? Clear it. Run the slide, drop the mag. So she did the drill, got everything hung up. I had to help her clear it. Happened again. The second time she got it, she cleared it. And then it happened the third time. Finally, because it had just come back from Cerakoting, we finally shot it enough to where any metal burrs left in the process were gone. And now she loves it and she's super accurate with it. But she's got that and her little Sig XL, which she has not Cerakoted yet. It's just a plain black. But yeah, different pistols for different people, folks. So he was trying to like scare his wife or maybe get a kick out of it, and she absconded his revolver. So that's what he gets. Hubby kept trying to get me a suburban hillbilly to practice with a shotgun. I said no. I didn't want to bruise shoulder. Finally picked him, blew out the center of the target, and told him he would. Oh, got cut off. Hear the end of it when my bruises were gone. Suburban. I would you could try a 20 gauge or a 410. 410 is a very small diameter shell. It's not short, but it's a small diameter shell. They're about that long. It looks weird. It looks almost like a crayon in a shotgun shell. Um, that's a terrible description, but it's the only one I can think of. But they're good if you practice with it. Hey, Moonsprout, welcome. You can definitely use it for home defense, but you can use it for removing pests. You can use it for skeet. I've actually seen people use it for skeet. It's very hard because it's such a small shell, but you may want to try that, and that way it doesn't kill you, because that's not cool. Klingon Pete, you're cracking me up this morning. Inadvertent pun. She'll have a blast. Dig into it. make a drinking game, but it's too early. It's never too early on a Saturday to have a drinking game. Although I'm at the age where if I start a drinking game in the morning, by 1 o'clock, the day is done anyway, and I'll be in bed. So my grandson of 14, he's 3. Right, but by the time your grandson is, say, 5, 6, when they're just big enough physically, it's such a short shotgun that they can utilize it even with mom or dad holding it while he pulls the trigger, and that way they start to learn. Um, my younger brother's taking my niece, and she's 11 now. And what did he get her? He got her basically what looks like a 22. It's a 22 that looks like an M1 carbine. I don't know if it's a Ruger or Mossberg or what the hell brand he got, but he's running little drills with her at the range. Like he'll set up 3 targets. He says, I want you to shoot this, take 2 steps to the right, shoot, reload, 2 steps to the right, shoot that one. And he's making her do these mini drills. But he's hoping when she's 18, 19 years old, even if she doesn't have a handgun, she's someone who can use a rifle while moving. I'm cool with that. If nothing else, she won't hurt herself with a damn 22. So, hey, Estatine, hello, hello, Johnny, what's going on? If I missed anyone, please let me know. Shorty, Penny Pinching, hello, Daryl. Hey, you snuck in on me there, buddy. Rescue. So, I got another article for you guys, and I'm bringing these up because this is like really long lead information on shortages that may happen. So this is from the holy cow. I really need to bring my glasses. The the United States Institute of USIP.org. So you guys can look it up. I can't remember what they're for. Before the next shock, the world needs a Marshall Plan for food and security. Now, the Marshall Plan was what was put in place after World War II to help rebuild Europe and Japan. However, before the next shock, so you're expecting another shock and you want to set up, and for some reason, they're not only predicting another shock, they're predicting food insecurity to go with it. That's what I took from that headline. So anyway, he says as food, climate, and security crises continue to intersect, the international community will need to reconsider how it responds. And it's written by a fellow named Adam Gallagher, who's one of the authors. And he goes on this rather verbose, which I may read at some future point when I've had some more. Yeah, it goes on and on and on. So I would recommend just skipping around as needed. But I think it's interesting how government agencies and like third party global entities are already predicting another shock and food insecurity. We've been saying it among our community for a hot minute now. So cutting down cornfields. So let's see, 4,000 rounds per minute. Holy cow, random dude, that would be insane. Is that what do you call that? I forgot what it's called. That Navy anti-aircraft gun, the minigun. I just forgot what it's called. Good Lord, I was talking about it 2 days ago. Thank you, Klingon. I appreciate it. And yes, folks, if anyone is a active creator in the chat, you would like to put your link in, the mods are free to do that if they can find your link. So so in any case, yeah, it's there's a lot of predictions of food insecurity, and they're tying it to the ecology, the environment, the weather patterns, crime, shortages, whatever they're attributing it to. You're seeing the same things. It's almost predictive at this point, right? Predictive programming. Here's another one, Yahoo Finance. And this is a Yahoo Finance article. These foods will be in short supply in 2023, so stock up now. I'll read the list to you so we don't have to carry on too long. So they first one, corn. And they're saying this one, due to Ukraine, has been one of the leading providers of corn. I did not know that. I thought they made wheat. So they're saying that's going to be a problem, which it's a component including chips, salad dressings, and even soda. So eat healthier and then not as worried, I guess. I don't know. Bread, flour, and wheat shortage are likely because of the war. That's again blamed on the conflict. And thank you, Mad Chad, and thank you, Klingon Princess. I appreciate you guys doing that. Vegetable oil, several veggie oils, canola, sunflower, soybean, and palm are expected to be short supply. Now, those don't have as long a shelf life. So if you buy them now, you may have to use them within a year and a half or so, or it'll be, it'll take it'll get rancid. So prepare as best you can accordingly. Another one is baby formula. Um, Enfamil because of shortages, and then some labor issues, a recall, etc. They also say champagne. Champagne. Hopefully, you got your fill of champagne on New Year's Eve because 2023 will be low on the bubbly. They're saying that the temperature changes have changed the way the grapes are coming out, which I believe because I do know people who own wineries, and changes in humidity and temperatures will change the wine that you get. So, super curious. And again, pet food, but this time they're specifying canned pet food and they're tying it to that aluminum shortage as well. So I guess bag pet food will still be available. I don't know. Um, but interesting, you're hearing the same thing from different people. But this is kind of 101 prepper stuff, right? This is stuff we should be doing, the corn, the bread, or the flour, yeast. Hell, even if you don't have yeast, you can make flatbread, you can make, hardtack. There are a lot of things you can do. So it's got the juice. Corn. And that's true, Suburban. Most dry pet food does have grains. So I did ask my daughter, again, who's the veterinarian. Um, so I said, okay, this vegan dog food. And she said, absolutely terrible. I'm like, okay, I thought so. But why dogs and cat foods are so different? So for those of you who are unaware, I didn't know specifically this. Dogs are omnivores, which I knew. What I did not realize were cats are pure carnivores. They normally don't eat plants unless they eat grass or beans or something to make them throw up. They don't consume, so they're pure carnivores. Whereas the dogs will eat, they'll graze on everything. Naturally speaking, coyotes, wolves, house pets, and hence why they chew up your lettuce or whatever in the house, and why veggies are a good treat for them. So if you have to make your own dog food, she said something simple as green beans, carrots, rice, and shredded chicken mixed in a concoction, cooked properly, not raw. And you cool it and you serve it. And so we actually tried it with one of our dogs. She got sick and she was starting to develop pancreatitis, which is bad. That'll kill him. And the vet said, let's get her on a really pure diet, no snacks, no treats. And it worked out really well. She got fat though, so I overfed her. Not my intent. Um, then she became a big potato. She's lost weight since then. But in any case, yeah. So rice. If you get the frozen veggies, the peas and carrots, you can either dehydrate them and then rehydrate them when you cook the rice, or you just mix them in with fresh rice and some chicken, or even little beef shreds, and you can feed them. Oh yeah, well, some random dude. What's funny is she also said that's the reason dogs love cat poop, because cats eat pure meat, right? Pure protein. They don't absorb it all. It comes out the other end. Then dogs find it and they're like, protein snack. And that's why your dog keeps running for the litter box and you keep chasing him out. So just not you particularly, but in general. So Putin is ready to escalate. So Watchmen, I spoke, as I said on the other live, I don't know if you were in that one. I spoke to folks in my circle whose families immigrated from Russia. They got run out of Russia back in the Cold War, or they fled. And they said that he had seen on the news, this person had seen on the news the night before that, oh, well, Putin will never do this or that. He's like, no, you don't understand. The leaders over there see this situation as an existential threat. He said, imagine if somehow it's not likely, but let's just say China like had an amphibious landing in Oregon. Although they can keep Portland, but they attack Oregon and they attack Idaho and they attack whatever Mexico and they have this big thing. We would view that as an existential threat. At that point, everything's on the table, right? He said they're already thinking like that, even though their borders have not been breached. And he said he predicted this. It was a few weeks ago. He said you're going to watch them starting to spread their nukes out. He said they will absolutely use one. He said 100%. He said, I think it would be the dumbest thing in the world. I think, and he's not a fan of their leadership over there. He said they have destroyed the country. It was doing good for a bit, and now it's ruined. But he's like, to them, they're serious. So, yeah, very interesting point. But yeah, absolutely true. I'm not upset. I was just curious. Yeah, actually. Penny pinching. Hold on, Penny. Because you never pimp me out ever. Oh, oh no. Yeah. To be honest, it's I had a dog with pancreatitis, made her dog food out of chicken rice, sweet potato. Sweet potato is actually good for them. Green beans, run it through food processor. Yeah, that is a great way to do it. That's what we were doing because we're trying to get a corgi to have pills, and they have short legs, so you have nothing to grab. You're basically grabbing an angry, kicking Tootsie Roll. And so we wound up crushing the pill and throwing it in the food. And of course, she'll eat the chicken, right? Foom, foom, and there went the pill. But and shaved my head. Well, KP, like my family's hit and miss, right? The guys, some grow hair, some don't. And mine was just kind of growing hair like the banker haircut. And I'm like, this is ugly. I don't like that. And it would itch. And I'm just shaving the shit, done. And I started doing that when I realized, yeah, I'm one of the lucky men who's going to get baldness. I'm like, screw it, shave. So now it looks even. I just have to remember to wear a baseball cap in the sun. Uh, Pimping Kennedy. Chad. Oh God. So penny pinching, just in Chad's defense, there's so many people who have channels but don't make content. It's really hard for everybody to kind of keep up. There's some folks I know who are now making videos that 2 years ago were not. Joe's a good example. Joe just started making videos like in the last 6, 8 months. So before that, it was I could put the link, but he didn't do anything, and now he does. So that's why I'll every few live streams I'll be like, hey, if you actually have an active channel, you're making content, put your hand up or tag one of the mods and say, hey, throw my link in there. But anyway, folks, look, a lot of this same thing over and over. This is not stuff that should really surprise us. Now, here's a good one for stupid ass CNN. Hold on. Is it me or CNN annoying? So, you guys will love this. Those of you who served, Ukraine loses 16 US made armored vehicles. Now, I don't know if you can look at that picture. That's a handful of Bradleys there. But that guy in the middle, right by the arrow, is that an M1 Abrams? Like, somebody help me out here. It's not a Leopard, is it? That guy. I swear that's an Abrams, but it's all burned out. Like the guy on that one, that's a Bradley. And this guy over here definitely looks like a Bradley or some variant of it. But homeboy over there, this guy, not a Bradley. Joe, I love pissing people off. Nostra, I got here just in time to find out Mad Chad used to be Huggy Bear the Guys, I already got restricted on Instagram for the human trafficking video. We're all going to get banned on YouTube. They lose them on eBay. No, Nostra, that was the body armor got lost on eBay. Oh, see, now that makes me curious. I have friends from Albania, and Albanians are used to be notorious for them and the Romanians for finding old Soviet shit and then reselling it as sporting equipment. I wonder, hence my SKS is Albanian and legal, by the way, for the alphabets who are watching. I'm just curious if I'm curious if we can I buy a Bradley? Is there one available? So anyway, the Watchmen, to your earlier point, yes, are tax dollars at work being blown up in the overseas. The last thing I'm going to leave you guys with: Leopards, Abrams, and other tanks being flogged. And no kidding, truth, Joe. My buddy designed a laser target acquisition for the Abrams. Not an Abrams? Okay. I couldn't tell because the turret looked like the Leopard, right? Because the Leopard has that, but the angle of that photo, the Abrams is more, I don't know, it's more like a little flat at the bottom and angled, whereas the Leopard kind of pinches in the middle, and I couldn't get a good eye on it. So, okay, still the other ones were definitely Bradleys from what I could tell. So, okay, Mad Shad, wait, what did Mad Shad do? He worked as a hardware engineer at General. Oh, then he definitely was involved in that stuff. Uh, and Joe. Yeah, Joe had some zingers this last week. Y'all need to listen to Joe, but don't put it on speaker if you have children, because your kids will have new words to talk to. And they'll wait until grandma shows up or the preacher or they're at church. And then they'll say, the man on YouTube said, and then you'll get called. But anyway, just to put on the tinfoil hat before we close it up for today. Remember, everyone's been talking about, I talked about it briefly, other channels have gone into more depth about the CBDC, crypto, and how it can be used to control people. And I knew a couple of crypto people had had accidents and they died. I'm not saying that it wasn't all accidental, but, and that's the Grit Daily, that's kind of an independent smack talk shop. But wealth and longevity usually go hand in hand, but not only. 5 crypto billionaires and near billionaires died in the final 2 months of 22, 4 occurring within a month, and the 5th occurring about a month after the 4th. None were overtly violent, but one of the billionaires tweeted he was the target of assassins just hours before being found drowned. It makes you wonder. Governments don't like competition unless they have their hand in the cookie jar, do they? So, just saying again, to my knowledge, I'm not going to drown, have a car accident, or do anything that will cause me to be non-functional or non-viable in the near future. So if something happens to me for running my mouth, there you go. Not saying something will, but saying something shouldn't. Anyway, Nikolai Mushgigin, he was maker DAO, destabilized or decentralized stablecoin DAI. He tweeted that intelligence agencies, along with the quote pedo elite, were going to murder him, and they're going to try to frame me, and etc. He was found passed away in Puerto Rico near his beach house. He had been swept out by powerful currents. Interesting. Damn. And he said that the government wasn't making a Bitcoin, they were making a shit coin. See, that's what happens, man. Delete the shit coin. So for those of you, oh no, random, absolutely. No, Javier Biosca, here's another one from Spain. These guys were all over the world. It wasn't like a bunch of dudes here in the States either. He was found no longer viable in November, and he was being investigated for fraud by their government, and supposedly a Ponzi scheme. And let's say he spent 8 months in jail, reportedly losing 40 pounds, suffering beatings from another inmates before someone posted bond to get him released. The bond was revoked reportedly after whoever it was concluded uh, the individual was no longer able to pay back funds. He returned terrified to prison. Oh no, reportedly terrified to prison. He pulled a Great Depression special off of the building in Estrapona, Spain. Then Titian Kullander, he's a digital asset guy. Here's a guy out of Hong Kong, another one. Tell me that's what happened to this cat? Passed away in his sleep. Maybe he had an illness, but does that look like a dude who's old enough to just pass away in his sleep? You know, oh, he died suddenly like all the other people. I don't know. There's a lot going on, folks. I had to throw conspiracy in there just to get everyone riled up for the day so you guys can go have fun on Saturday. But folks, look, a lot of folks are predicting the same things. Bread, corn, basics. This is not only fundamental stuff, it's not expensive. Budget it out. Take your time. Suspiciously like the, yeah, it sure does, doesn't it, Nostra? Hey, Teresa, welcome. Keto, Miss Jess. By the way, Jess has a bunch of fun cooking channels, so make sure you check her channel out as well. Absolutely, I don't agree. Let's see, did I get everyone in here? The Vegas alien had a tail. Escape lag. Okay, true story, Watchman. There is a biolab in New Iberia, Louisiana, affiliated with LSU. They had some monkeys that had, it wasn't like something super ugly, like, you know, death pox or something. It was something that would make other animals sick and cause stupidity and panic. And two of the little shits got out, and a Cajun shot one of them in his yard. And they were like, "Don't mess with the monkeys, report him." And it went after his dog, and he shot its ass because, you know, that's how people in South Louisiana do that. And then he called the law, and the cop showed up and goes, "What the hell's with the monkey?" He's like, "I don't know. He was chasing my dog, so I shot his ass." So they called the lab, and then the lab had to like sanitize the area and take blood samples of the poor dog. And it's just like, yes, there's a primate research center in Covington. There's one in New Iberia, right south of the old airfield. I actually know where it is, and I think they've changed it now. It's like for animal research because the local people after that got pissed off, and so they made them change it. But yeah, no, that's how apparently that pimping penny. It's so bad. See, man, you guys got Shad started. Man, Skelly was on a rant yesterday, and now you got mad Shad started. Now it's not even distributing bacon anymore. Come on now, don't pick on the man. But anyway, yeah, interesting stuff going on, guys. But look, this is 101 stuff, and a lot of the stuff they're predicting is going to be in short supply. Is currently available, and it's not expensive. Think about it, $20 extra. You can buy a 50-pound bag of rice at Sam's today, right? 50 or $20 extra, you can go and get quite a few cans of food at the Dollar General, you know, Aldi, whatever's near you, Kroger, United, or you get the big cans, those big ass like 101 cans or whatever they're called, and you got a pile of food in there. For the record, oh, almost stepped on my poor dog. So we cleared out the hunting lease for the company, and they had the big cans of green beans. You know which one I'm talking about, the restaurant size. And the guy was leading the group. We had to clear out because we're moving to another lease. All right, Klingon, congrats on the graduation party for whoever graduated, and thank you for joining me. Be safe out there, and thanks for helping with all the links. I do appreciate you guys when you can come in. Everyone's busy, so I definitely appreciate it. I finally wound up using one of the big cans, and I read somewhere, whatever you don't use, drain it, and you can freeze it in a Tupperware. So I got about 2 or 3 of these out of the big can. And they said, if you want to use it the next day, just take it out of the freezer, stick it in the fridge and let it thaw normally, and then you can cook it in a pot or microwave it however you want to cook it. But yeah, so that's cheap. So the big can at Sam's yesterday was $4.50, whereas the little box of 6 smaller cans was $8. So you get more product, but you have to figure out how to store it. But in any case, well, folks, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. No corgis were harmed in the video. No, no, no. Hey, Big Daddy. Big Daddy Shad. That's terrible. Pimp Shad and the hizzy. Yeah, no. Actually, green beans are actually a really good treat for dogs if you don't want them to get really heavy, but don't give them too much. And don't give them broccoli. They can eat it. They will fart, and everyone will be unhappy. In any case, guys, that's it for this morning's Sitrep. I wanted to kind of point out some shortages they're forecasting in the next 6 to 12 months. That way we can react now to what's going on later. You guys have a blessed weekend. To all the dads out there, have a happy Father's Day. Even if all it is you sitting on the couch and watching TV, that's okay, because we deserve that. Anyway, guys, be safe, be careful out there, and keep doing what you're doing. Watch what's going on, because it'll give you the information you need to put your money in the best place you can to get the most value out of your dollar. You guys be good and take care.